Welcome to the Core Chronicles. You made it here, let's go.
In the physical world, it might feel like nothing is happening. I mean, you've planted your seed, but all you see is stillness. No movement, no change. And this is where most people give up, at this stage. What they don't realize is that the seed is germinating. It's growing in the darkness, out of sight. Something is happening even when nothing is happening. The unseen is where the miracle starts to take place. The roots are stretching deeper into the soil, preparing for something powerful to rise. But here's the key. Just like you wouldn't dig up the seed to check if it's growing, don't dig into your subconscious doubting if things are manifesting. Faith does not work like that. You have to move with faith the same way a woman knows that when she's pregnant, a baby is growing inside of her. She can't see what's happening, but she trusts the process. This is the kind of faith that you need, the faith of a mustard seed, small but mighty. So keep watering your dreams with consistency, love, and with action. Because when the moment comes, when that seed finally breaks through the surface, it will be strong and unstoppable. So remember, nothing is happening in vain. Every unseen effort is laying the foundation for the unseen to become a reality. So keep showing up, keep believing. You are closer than what you think. Now I want you to take a deep inhale and exhale. Again. This is where your life starts to change.
You really want to tap into some stuff, get up at 4 o'clock, and that's when you're most creative. So even if you got some problems, and you're trying to figure some shit out, and you need some kind of thing, get up at 4 o'clock and think about it. And you'll tap into it, it'll bring you all the shit you need.
Trump offered you a position. Would you take it?
Sure will.
What would you want to do for the government?
I want to speak to the black people for him. What you can't say to them, just tell me what you want to be known, and then I go tell them.
What's your name? Charlemagne the God. What's your name, nigga? LeBron James.
Yeah. You got to have a certain. It's kind of like what they was doing with the rappers coming to speak to the culture. I could talk to both the educated and uneducated blacks and get my point across. Yeah, so I would make a great spokesman for a politician like that.
How bad was slavery, Daisy? How bad?
It couldn't be any worse there. I just keep trying to tell you. Can anything be any worse when a white man was having children by the Negro slave women and then putting them up for sale on a block? Putting my father, they wanted to sell my father for a breeder for $12,000 when he was 12 years old. And old Golden, John Golden, was the rich planter, he wouldn't sell him for that. This lady that was in this room this morning is from New Orleans, one of the women. Just this past 2 weeks, she found this picture of my father down in New Orleans, and she's bringing it to me now. I'm going to have a copy of it, of my father.
Great. What regiment did he fight in, Daisy?
1st New Jersey Cavalry. When he ran away, my father was on the plantation working for his master, and he with 27 other boys ran away, swam across the Rappahannock River, and joined the 1st New Jersey Cavalry in 6th when the war.
Was he a good fighter, your father? Did he fight hard for the Union?
Oh, yes, yeah, he was a brave boy. Naturally, he had nothing else to do. He was a brave boy. He had to be brave to come up here in this country and make a living.
It shouldn't exist. This place shouldn't be here. Machu Picchu isn't even the only city in the area that's 8,000 feet high. Yana Picchu is even higher. Before we try and explain how they got the rock to do that, you gotta explain why it was a priority to put doorways that go nowhere in the temple. This rock right here is what really gets me though. How do you get that up there? How did they know the same techniques as another culture across the globe? Why is the older stuff more advanced than the newer stuff? I don't see iPhones getting worse. I wouldn't know how to get water up here, but their fountains still work. We only know how they did it because we 3D scanned it. Not only did they know how to get it up there, they delivered it to the citizens via art. No one gives these guys enough credit. They thought these were for food or like grain, grinding grain up. They fill up with water one day and someone notices the angle at which they reflect. built them to observe sections of the sky during specific times of the year through the windows of the surrounding building. And then we realize the whole place is aligned to the sky, celestial events. Here's the deal. When someone comes in and takes all your stuff, then enslaves your people, they get to write your story and make your people look like idiots. South America, Africa, India. Strange that they all have some form of this guy. But all of them just so happen to have the most unexplainable stuff. Utterly unsatisfactory explanations for what it was, all of which make the natives look inferior. Tell you what doesn't lie. A big old rock.
The fucked up things that have happened in your life, and you can put that on a list, and you somehow made it past all of this to be in a position where you can still go make some stuff happen. That's what you have in common with every hero of every story, of every autobiography, of every... Wow. Is how much happened to you that should have broke you, that did not break you, so that you were able to then fucking ride. Amen.
The reason why spirituality is important is because it is reality. So what is reality? We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. I fully know, goes beyond belief, I fully know that I am a soul and that I am inhabiting or attached to or in connection with a bodily form, and that is my reality. So for me to deny my reality is not beneficial to anyone, not least of not myself. So now if you're a hardcore atheist and you're like, that's bullshit, prove it to me. Prove to me this divine spark of which you speak. I want to see it in a laboratory or in an algorithm or on a computer screen. Well, that's not quite how it works, because every spiritual tradition will show you that we live in a matrix, that we live in an illusion. And when we wake up from this corporal form, we're going to be in some greater reality. But putting all that aside, I would say to the atheist or agnostic that try it and see if your life is better. There's hard data that shows around mental health and well-being that having serenity, meaning, purpose, focus, a sense of service to others, a losing of oneself to a transcendent self of the divine, the transcendent, the abundance that's around us, increases greatly the quality of our lives. When we see ourselves in true humility with the size and scope of the universe and whatever infinite universes are beyond this universe, that it makes the quality of your life better. So cost-benefit analysis, putting in a small amount of time every day, I'm talking about 40 minutes in your day to some kind of spiritual opening and or practice has incredible benefits. This has been found time and time again. It's found in the 12-step programs. It's found in Buddhist meditation. It's found in the most ancient texts that humanity has ever created, the Vedas and Upanishads from 3,000 years ago. This sense that we are a wave on the sea of creation, and the wave crests and the wave falls. We're a part of something much greater and much more beautiful than ourselves. And in living in that state can
losers let it happen, winners make it happen. Losers see thunderstorms, winners see rainbows. Losers see icy streets, winners put on their ice skates. Losers take chances, winners make choices. It's all in the way you choose to think. And Earl Nightingale and the scriptures and people through the years have said it best. You do become what you think about most of the time.
Nothing from success, never. There's nothing you learn from success, You learn everything from failing. And fear of failing is what holds people back from doing anything.
Yes.
And and when you don't try, and you wake up at 65 years old, you're a lot angrier than if you'd failed. You're a lot, it's really easy to be 65 years old and go, I tried to do that, just couldn't do it. You'll really be mad if you go, I think I could have done that.
This is the Popeyes Don Julio collab that we have to try because there's actual tequila in it. So to order it, you actually have to be over 21 years old. We got both the chicken sandwich and the wings. So we got to get into this. And I never thought in a million years that Don Julio and Popeyes would collab, but there's actually tequila in the marinade and in the flavor in the sauce. First, I think we should try the sandwich. Also, the branding on this thing is so cool. Like that logo, pretty fire. First, chicken sandwich. Okay, sorry about that. We got, it's a concha bread, and then the chicken is supposed to be marinated in tequila, and then there's a tequila lime slaw. So let's try it out. Tequila chicken. The bread is a lot more crumbly than a traditional Popeyes bread. The chicken, I don't taste that much flavor in this. It kind of tastes, let me just taste the slaw on its own. Yeah, I don't really get much tequila flavor at all. It just tastes like a regular chicken sandwich. I actually prefer the regular bun than this. I mean, it's still good because it's a Popeyes chicken sandwich, but I don't get any tequila. Let's try the Don Julio Popeyes chicken wings, I believe. Yep, so we got chicken wings. So I think the chicken wings, I have it written down here. They come with a tequila glaze. I didn't even know Popeyes did chicken wings like this. Let's try it out. It's okay. I just don't get much tequila at all. Like, I want bold tequila flavors if you're gonna go there. I don't know. It's a cool collab. I mean, the branding and packaging and everything is fire. Here we got the spicy strawberry mocktail, so there's not actually tequila in this. That's pretty good. If you add some Don Julio into there, that might be the best thing of the whole bunch. Wings, the sandwich, I don't know. I just want some merch with this design. That's pretty cool. But the actual product, it's okay. I wanted to get drunk off this chicken.
I ain't gonna lie, that chicken looks pretty good. And I don't eat chicken or steak, taking a break away from the meat. However, can you imagine getting the Don Julio Popeyes combination, you pulling out of the parking lot and the fuzz get behind you? You know what I'm saying? So be mindful. Take your chicken, get to the house. Don't let them pull you over, you know what I mean? Don't let them see you eating the chicken behind the wheel, because they might mistake it for the Don Julio 2-piece special or whatever, you know what I mean? You might get jammed up. So be careful, man. Anyway, man, let's get back.
Expect me to believe that a Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines flight in DC's most monitored and secure airspace. Yeah, it sounds like some fucking bullshit, especially when you just so happen to consider who was on board, which ironically were a lot of popular Russian personnel. Now, as if that's not already fucking sketchy enough, you just so happen to look at the flight tracker, which I'll show you guys here in a second. But what I really want the attention to be on is where the helicopter took off from, which just so happens to be this address right here, which is 811 Lawton Street. And do you know what's located at that specific address? A whole shitload of properties that Saudi Arabian diplomats and scholars reside at. And when you just so happen to look at the specific owners, you might see that it's the Embassy of Saudi Arabia. Now, what's really interesting about this specific location, right, is the fact that one, a Black Hawk helicopter, for whatever fucking reason, took off from this location and not only ignored air traffic control, but also flew directly into that airline. An airline of which 2 passengers were known to have tuberculosis on. I'm not specifically saying that that has anything to do with this scenario, okay? But There is a major tuberculosis outbreak that just so happens to be around that specific location of which that airline flew off from. So why wouldn't the US government utilize their good old Saudi Arabian buddies to take care of a potential crisis? Putting that aside, because that might just be a conspiracy theory for now, that specific location of which that Black Hawk took off from just so happens to ironically be the same exact location of which a Black Hawk that was rumored to be shooting people during the Las Vegas incident also flew off from as well. Now this is the flight pattern of the helicopter, the orange plane being the helicopter, okay? Look at how many planes it just narrowly misses. Now I know, you can't tell the difference between altitude, but this isn't exactly coincidental, is it? I mean, that's the third one right there. Sorry about the fucking ad. And then this. It diverts its path off to the side. And then as you can see here in a second, it aims to go closer to the airport, but diverts its route as well. And then it just keeps flying directly towards that airline. If you want some clarification and a full rundown about the Las Vegas incident, you can go check out Ian Carroll's profile on X. He's truly phenomenal at what he does, but I don't find that to be any coincidence. You feel me? This is obviously a false flag, and if you can't realize that and you still think that this was just some accident, then you're choosing to be fucking delusional. Now, I don't know who's necessarily trying to ignite tensions with Russia right now, the Biden administration, but I'd say that committing acts like this is a really good fucking way of doing it.
We are going to go on out not only to the moon, to the stars, we're going to spread.
It's one small step for man.
Now it may seem obvious, like, wow, what a great business opportunity. But back in 2008 and 2009, it was anything but. It was amazing. We're seeing the aftermath of this ambition that had a setback.
We assumed it was governments that were going to take us to space. Now that has been completely turned on its head.
Yeah, the first time I went to visit SpaceX was like a religious experience. One of these things where you're like, do people know that this is happening?
We do things fast, we do things cheap, we bring the benefits of space to people in the world.
Girls just want gardens on Mars, right?
We really have to ask ourselves, why are we spending $5 billion a year for 20 years with nothing to show for it?
Nothing is solved. When people think that they have something solved is honestly probably when they're most wrong.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
You seem like you like space.
I mean, of course.
There is a new space race between the US and China. These pockets of ice are the most valuable real estate in the solar system.
We will plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
This is what victory feels like.
It's not a question of if, it's a matter of when. And if it's not a matter of when, then it's a matter of, well, how long does humanity have to survive?
Sort of reverse back to the Apollo era, humanity's first step into the stars.
Every one of their stories has a mirror for what I'm going through.
Separation confirmed.
At some point, we're just going to have to terraform the planet. It is doable in the same way that building cathedrals was doable in the Middle Ages.
At the end of the day, I think we're all too bored to stay here.
Oh, it's going to be incredibly hard and risky. All new frontiers are. That's part of what inspires generations to do things.
Why does this mission of going farther into the stars matter so much to you each personally?
Solar only. The problem with solar only is in the best part of the country, you get 6 hours a day of sun. What do you do with the rest of the day to generate power? Yeah, these spin really easy. That's generating power right now. I'd call it a trihelix.
And how did you come up with it?
I kept finding the flaws in traditional wind power. The biggest flaw in traditional wind power is, you know, what we call the horizontal windmill with the propeller on the front. They spend most of their time trying to find the wind. So that makes a regular turbine worthless because it's here Then it's jumping to here, then it's jumping back, and it's never getting any time to turn because it's trying to find the wind. And that to me was a waste of time. So I went from that to this because I don't care what direction the wind is coming from. It can come over here, well, this is going to catch it. If it comes over here, it's always going to turn. So it's always going to be generating power. It don't matter how gusty and how inconsistent the wind is gusting, it's always going to catch it and turn. Now, I call it a tri-helix, and the reason I call it a tri-helix is I do them in sets of 3. This first design, each turbine could only do 150 watts. So that's 450 watts is what I was getting out of this system. I have since improved it to where each turbine is 400 watts now.
How did you improve it?
Well, my original design, and if you want to see them, I have them back over by the building. I can show you. Okay. Most people think of it an alternator like what you have on your car. You know, the big round thing with the big coils and it weighs a ton, which is a good idea, but it's totally inefficient. It's meant to be run by a motor, hence your car engine. But that's what turbines are made with. You know, all current turbines are made with that style of an alternator. What I did is, the original design is what we call a pancake alternator or an axial flux alternator. It's storage, but I also have my old prototypes and my old test stuff in here. It's a mess.
In your garage.
Yeah, it's essentially my garage. Here's a bunch of my blades that have been pressed and ready to be built. These are the original blades. Okay. I have newer ones. This is...
You raise your frequency, what happens? You become a more sensitive antenna to higher frequency communication and information and intelligence. When you become a better receiver of that information, what happens? You expand your consciousness. When you expand your consciousness, what happens? You know yourself more deeply, more fully, more truly.
Why do we keep forgetting our power so quickly, so easily?
Because you have been trained to. Because you have been trained to buy into fear-based beliefs that say you are not worthy, you are not deserving, you are not powerful, you are not confident, you are not trusting, you are not connected, you are out of control. These are the things that you are taught on your planet. When you grow up in your society, from your parents, your friends, your schooling. But when you become an adult, you begin to realize, hey, I was spoon-fed something that I can't digest anymore. That's not me.
Talk about food for thought. The brother Bashar puts it down with the universal teaching. Anyway, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for joining us tonight at the Core Chronicles. Peace.
Core Chronicles on YouTube delivers captivating stories and insightful content that ignite curiosity and creativity. Dive into adventures that inspire, entertain, and leave you wanting more. Subscribe, like, share, and let the journey begin.